Hello and welcome to another Ice Tech FAQ from Manitowoc Ice. My name is Josh Klepadlo. I'm one of the technical trainers here at the Factory Training Center in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Today we're going to be talking about our PTCR conversion kit, part number ending in 19347. This is going to be applicable to legacy Indigo as well as Indigo NXT machines. We're going to go step by step through the instruction sheet that comes with the kit and how to do the conversion from the single 36 amp PTCR over to the dual 18 amp PTCRs. As many of you are aware, we had a disruption with our supplier for the 36 amp PTCR that we use across multiple platforms. And what we have done is we are now using two 18 amp PTCRs wired in parallel in order to make that 36 amp. So there's a little conversion we have to do, including some brackets and some wiring. We have an instruction sheet that comes with the kit, but we're going to go through that now in case you get stuck while you're doing it, following along with the instructions. Today we're going to be using an Indigo NXT 1500 pound air-cooled self-contained 208, 220 volt machine as our example unit, but this will work for any of the machines in the Indigo Legacy line as well as the NXT line that need this conversion. Before we get into the machine to take a look, we're going to look at what comes in the kit, and then we can start working on the machine from there. Taking a look at the contents of the kit here, we're going to have an instruction sheet. This is what I'm going to be following along step by step in order to do this operation. You're also going to see a PCB mounting bracket. That's this big piece of metal here. The next thing you're going to see is the wire harness to convert over to the dual PTCR. Next, we're going to have a new wiring diagram that's going to be updated for the new dual PTCR. We're going to have 4 of these little computer board supports. These are for the control board. We have 2 of the 18 amp PTCRs themselves. Next, we have 2 of the brackets for these PTCRs. You're going to get 10 cable ties in the kit. You're also going to get a bag with some screws and the PTCR bracket that we're going to mount the 2 PTCR brackets to in order to mount it into the existing control box. You're going to be able to do this conversion with some very basic hand tools. I have my 5-in-1 here. Really, I just need this for the Phillips number 2 to get the front cover off. I have a magnetic 5/16 nut driver, a pair of flush cutters to cut some zip ties, and then a pair of needle nose to help get some of those stubborn flag terminals that we're going to be working with here. So now let's get into the machine and see how to do this. Before we get started on this, one last thing I want to say. Before you work on this, make sure you're following all of your applicable power disconnecting, lockout, tagout procedures in your area, your local code, follow your company's procedure. I have this machine completely safe, disconnected from all incoming power, so I feel comfortable reaching my hands in here. Just simply hitting the power button is not going to be enough. We are going to be dealing with some components that will have line voltage, so we want to make sure we are totally safe when we go to work on this. So now that I've got all of that disconnected, first thing we're going to do is take the front cover off, as well as the top cover, the right side cover, and the electrical box cover. For the speediness of the video, I've already gone ahead and taken those covers off. We now have access to our control board. Once we have access inside of the control board, we can follow the technician's handbook procedure and make sure that this PTCR has actually failed. You want to make sure that we're not just changing parts for no reason. This one here we have confirmed is failed here. It is not reading the proper ohms, so we're going to go ahead and replace it today. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect all of the wiring that is plugged into the control board and take the control board out off of its bracket. Now that we have all the wiring disconnected, we're going to go ahead and remove the main control board from its bracket. It's held in with these 4 standoffs here. There's a little barb on the one side of the standoff that needs to be depressed in order to pull it out. A lot of guys in the field like to use a small piece of 1/4 inch copper. I actually find it easier to just gently use my needle nose pliers, get in there, squeeze it, and pull the board out. Now I have the control board loose from the bracket. We're going to go ahead and set this somewhere safe, making sure not to drop it and treat it with care. Now that we have removed the control board from the machine and have it safely off to the side, we can remove the 3 wire connections from the PTCR. We're going to remove the PTCR from the bracket and discard it. With the PTCR now removed from the control board bracket, there's 2 screws on the bottom front that need to come out and 1 screw from the back that needs to come out, and then we can take this control board bracket out of the machine. This is why I like to use a magnetic nut driver for this. It just helps to keep from losing your screws when you're taking them out. Get that 3rd one from the back here. And then that bracket will be ready to remove. Now I have the bracket removed from the machine. We're going to discard this as well. Next thing we're going to have to do is cut this zip tie holding the orange wire, the yellow wire, the blue wire, and the black wire together. Simply cut that, remove that zip tie. Okay, if we follow these wires down to where they terminate, we have one orange wire that mounts onto the run capacitor. We can take that out and discard that. And then this yellow wire that has the black wire mounted to it, we can disconnect that from the run capacitor and get rid of that guy as well. Now we're back over here at the bench. We're going to take our mounting bracket as well as the two PTCR brackets and two of the screws that come in the bag and mount these PTCR brackets to the adapter bracket. When you're done, it should look like this. And now we're ready to mount this into our control box on the machine. Taking a look inside of your control box, you're going to see this oblong hole here towards the top and then these two holes here. We're going to be utilizing those in order to mount this bracket. You're going to set the bracket in and line it up like this, and then we're going to run the two screws from the kit in from the back into this bracket. We'll get one screw started, and then we'll get the second one before we tighten them both down. Okay, so now my bracket is installed. Now we're back over here at the bench. We're going to go ahead and pre-wire our two PTCRs before we put them inside of the machine. When you get your harness, you're going to see that there's one side that all four wires are flush, and there's another side where they're offset. We're going to use the offset side on the PTCRs. You're going to look at the numbers here. You see we have a 46A, a 46. Here we have a 45A and a 45. So what we want to do is we want to match them up. We want to match up 46A with 45A and 45 with 46. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the 46A and put it to the top side of one of our PTCRs. And then, since this is the A, we're going to take the 45A and put it to the bottom of the PTCR. We're going to move over to our other one. And we're going to take 46 and put it on the top. And then we're going to take 45 and put it on the bottom. Now that we have this wired like this, we can put it into the brackets that we just installed in the control box. Now we're over here at the machine again with our pre-wired PTCRs. We can go ahead and insert them in their brackets. You'll hear a nice click and a good positive retention inside of there. Take care, make sure you're not going to pinch any wires or damage any wires when you're doing this. Make sure everything's clear, make sure nothing's going to chafe, make sure nothing's going to rub. So now I have my two PTCRs installed in their brackets and wired. We can go ahead and wire the other four ends down to the run capacitor. Your two orange wires, number 46 and 46A, are going to go to the top side of your run capacitor along with the yellow wire that's already there. And then your two yellow wires, 45 and 45A, are going to go on the bottom section of the run capacitor along with the red wire and the blue wire that should be existing there as well. Okay, now that we have all of that installed and wired, next thing we're going to do is install the new PCB bracket or control board bracket. When we install this, we want to make sure that we take extra care not to damage any wires or pinch anything. I personally find it easier to start the two from the bottom front, leave them a little bit loose, then go around to the back in the refrigeration section and get that third screw installed. So now I have all three of my screws in. I can go ahead and finish snugging them all down. So now all three of my screws are in and tight. My bracket's in place. So the next thing we're going to do is use three of the supplied zip ties and secure these yellow and orange wires to these holes inside of this control board mounting bracket so that they don't chafe or rub. Okay, now that I have my wires all tied up nicely, I'm going to go ahead and flush cut all these zip ties. Next thing we're going to do is install our 4 PCB standoffs. Now that we have those installed, we can go ahead and reinstall our control board. You want to make sure when you install it that your 9-pin connector is in the bottom right-hand corner the way it was when we took it out. Just line up the holes. Snap it in place, make sure it's secure. Now we can go ahead and rewire our control board. Now that I have my control board all rewired, all of my wires are laying nice, made sure that nothing's going to be pinched or a screw run through it when I put the control box cover back on. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and attach our new wiring diagram over the existing wiring diagram so that when you work on this machine next, it's going to show the two PTCRs in parallel and you'll be able to have the proper schematic for what you're working on. So the last thing that you would do in the field now is reinstall your electrical box cover, all of your other covers, restore power to the machine, power it on, watch it make a couple batches of ice, If this machine is within its warranty period, you're going to process the warranty claim with part number 850913. If you have any issues with this during the installation process, don't hesitate to give us a call on our technical support hotline. We are always here ready to help. Hopefully this video helped you get through this. It's not too bad of a procedure. We have really nice instructions. We just wanted to make a video to go along with it since there is some wiring involved, just to help clear up maybe some questions that guys might have in the field. Again, my name is Josh Klepadlo. I'm a technical trainer here at Manitowoc Ice. Hope this video helped. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe for more content.